What if I told you that every confusing, frustrating, or completely baffling thing that another person has ever done actually made total sense? You just didn't have the right map to understand it. Today, that changes. This is video 4 in our series, and this is the one where everything clicks. I am handing you the complete blueprint for making people make sense. We're zooming all the way out today, taking a bird's eye view of the entire system that I use to decode human behavior. Everything that we have built across the last 3 videos, it all comes together right here, right now. So if you have a notebook nearby, grab it. You're going to want to write this down. But before we jump into the blueprint itself, let's take a quick look at the road that got us here, because each video in this series added a critical piece to the puzzle. In video 1, we established something that most people never consider, that behavior has causes underneath it. Hidden forces are constantly shaping what people say, decide, and do. Behavior is the surface, but the hidden forces method looks beneath it. Then, in video 2, we shifted the most important question that you can ask about another person. Instead of asking why someone did something, we learned to ask what might be causing it. That one shift changes everything. And in video 3, we uncovered the perception filter, the insight that people don't react to reality the way it actually is. Instead, they react to what that reality means to them. Same event, 2 completely different meanings, and 2 completely different reactions. If you haven't watched those first 3 videos, go back and start there, because today we are connecting every piece into one complete system. All right, so here we go. The blueprint starts with step 1, and it sounds almost too simple. See the behavior. That's it. That's what most people miss. They either tune behavior out entirely, or they immediately rush to judge it. Neither of those moves gets you anywhere useful. The skill is pure observation. What are they actually saying? What actions are they taking? Are they reacting to things? What keeps repeating? Think of yourself as a detective. A good detective doesn't walk into a crime scene and start making accusations. They look, they notice, they gather information. Behavior is your first clue. It tells you that something is happening. But remember, behavior is the smoke, and it points to a fire burning somewhere underneath. Your job at this stage isn't to explain it, it is simply to notice it. Now we move to step 2, and this is where most people stop, which is exactly why most people struggle to understand each other. Once you have observed the behavior, you have to look beneath it. Ask yourself, what hidden force might be fueling what you are seeing? Is it fear, a need for control, embarrassment, a belief that they formed years ago, past experiences shaping how they see today, pride, identity? The visible behavior, the anger, the avoidance, the perfectionism, the withdrawal, that is just the tree above the ground. The hidden forces are the root systems running deep underground, feeding everything that you see on the surface. The hidden force is almost always more important than the behavior it produces. Behavior is the surface, but hidden forces are the cause. Step 3 is identifying the emotion. And this matters more than most people realize, because here's the truth about human beings. We are emotional creatures. even when we are completely convinced that we are being perfectly logical. Emotions are the bridge between hidden forces and hidden behavior. When you can accurately identify what someone is feeling, you gain a massive window into what is driving them. Are they carrying fear, shame, frustration? Are they feeling relief, excitement, or pride? Pinpointing the emotion tells you what matters most to that person in that moment. Because emotions don't lie. They reveal what people care about, what they want to protect, and what they are afraid of losing, and what they are desperately hoping to gain. And if you can identify the emotion, you are already one significant step closer to truly understanding the person in front of you. Step 4 is where the perception filter we discussed in video 3 becomes incredibly practical. This step is about discovering the meaning. The question to ask yourself here is not what happened, it's what does this situation appear to mean to them? This is one of the most powerful questions in all of psychology because people rarely react to events. They react to what they believe those events mean. The exact same feedback can feel like a personal attack to one person and like a gift to another. The exact same comment can land as rejection or as freedom, depending entirely on the meaning being assigned. That meaning creates an emotional response. That emotional response then drives the behavior. Understanding the chain, event to meaning to emotion to behavior, is what separates people who truly understand others from those who spend their lives confused by them. Step 5 takes us even deeper. Once you understand the meaning someone is attaching to a situation, the next question is, what need, goal, or fear is living underneath all this? Every single person you will ever meet is either moving towards something that they want or moving away from something that they fear. Sometimes what they're seeking is acceptance, recognition, safety, belonging, or significance. But other times, the behavior that you are watching is really about avoiding rejection, failure, embarrassment, loss, or conflict. When you can identify which direction someone is moving in and why, behavior that seemed completely irrational suddenly starts making perfect sense. Motivation is the key that unlocks confusing behavior. Ask what they're chasing and what they're running from, and you will understand far more than most people ever will. Step 6 is about pulling back and looking at the bigger picture. One behavior is a clue. A pattern is evidence. And when you start noticing that someone keeps having the same conflict, keeps making the same choice, keeps reacting the same way to certain triggers, keeps returning to the same emotional place, that's the pattern. And patterns reveal everything. They show you the hidden forces at work over time. They expose the emotional drivers, the reoccurring fears, the consistent motivations. People tend to repeat the same patterns until something in their life or in themselves changes. So instead of getting frustrated by repeated behavior, get curious about what the pattern is telling you. Step back, look wider, see the cycle, and not just the moment. Step 7 is where the whole blueprint pays off. This is to respond with understanding. And I want to be clear about something. The goal of this entire method is not to judge people. It's not to label them. It's not to diagnose or categorize them. The goal is genuine understanding. When you have moved through the first 6 steps, observing behavior, looking for hidden forces, identifying emotion, discovering meaning, finding the motivation, and recognizing the pattern, you are in a completely different position to respond. You communicate with more clarity. Your relationship grows stronger. Your frustration decreases. And perhaps the most valuable outcome of all, your empathy deepens. Because once you see what is actually driving someone's behavior, it almost always makes sense. Understanding builds bridges. Judgment builds walls. Now, everything covered today, every step of this blueprint, is explored in much greater depth in my upcoming program, The Art of Reading People. We go beyond the framework and into real application, practical tools, real-world scenarios, behavior patterns, emotional triggers, communication signals, and decision-making processes. You will watch over my shoulder as we apply this method in everyday situations. Understanding people is a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned. More details are coming very soon, so stay tuned. In the next video, we are taking this blueprint off the page and putting it to work. I am going to walk you through a real-life example step by step so you can see exactly how this method works when behavior seems completely confusing at first. Once you watch it applied, you'll start spotting those patterns on your own everywhere you look. That's the complete blueprint. See the behavior, look for hidden forces, identify the emotion, discover the meaning, find the need, goal, or fear, recognize the patterns, respond with understanding. Human behavior is never random. There is always a reason beneath the action. And when you learn to look beneath the surface, people start making sense. So be sure and look for the next video on your screen. And be sure and subscribe so you don't miss it. I will see you there.